back here with Wayne from Happy Hearts Pet Care in Atlanta, Georgia. Wayne, thanks for coming on the podcast, man. I appreciate it, and I'm excited to dive into your story.
Thank you, Easton. I appreciate being here and I look forward to sharing.
Yes, and shout out to Pierre for connecting us together. He's been huge. So shout out to
Yes,
him,
sir.
Pierre. You're amazing, and I'm definitely gonna be tagging you in this. So Wayne, can you just kind of dive into why you decided to start Happy Hearts Pet Care?
Absolutely. So I have my bachelor's in veterinary technology. And it really all started because I was tired of working corporate, honestly. So being a vet tech, you love what you do what you love day in and day out. And when you're working for either a private company or working for a corporate company, you know, we're not doing it for the money. And at the time, I saw, of course, I needed to increase my revenue or my income and figure out a way to extend my help outside of working in the hospitals because that's where a lot of my clients came from. So I saw like a lot of clients, and at this time, I was working in an emergency hospital. So clients needed help with at home care and when they needed to travel. So who's better to be on the case than the tech that was on the case when they were there? So building up relationships with them definitely helped and paved the way. And I decided, I was like, well, look, if it's making money and it's good, I might as well make it into a business, and people are asking for it. So it really turned into, just starting off with just helping out post-op and when they needed pet sitting and things like that. And it turned into grooming and daycare and overnight care and all of the things like we do here in Atlanta.
And when you said that you worked for a hospital, was this a hospital with pets or was this a hospital with humans?
I got you. So it was a veterinary hospital. So I worked
Okay.
at the time. I worked at a general practice in which we do like surgeries, small surgeries, vaccines, exams, things like that. And then I also worked for an emergency hospital at UGA. So I was working both jobs at the same time, and I was able to use that expertise and that experience to turn it into a business, turn a hobby into a business.
Yes. Which is always the best, right? You like take something that you love and now you're getting paid to do it.
Absolutely.
What are some things that you learned working in a pet hospital that you that you decided to change when you went over and started your own pet business?
For sure. I think the main thing is my management style. So working in various hospitals, working in various settings, you become accustomed to different management settings and management styles. Some people have been in this field, some people haven't, some people are here just to manage, some people don't realize, or treat people as numbers or like real people for lack of better way of explaining it. So when I started my business, I made it a point to really treat people like people and really be able to, you know, treat them like humans. Like they have lives and they have children and they have responsibilities and things like that. So I took a lot of that from what I didn't want to see and what I didn't want because now I'm the leader. Now I'm the business owner. Now I have the opportunity to provide an environment in which people would love to come to, and I wholeheartedly like believe that if you it the total experience starts from the top, right? So if the management enjoys what they do and they know what they do, then the staff knows what they do, they love what they do, and that turns into caring for the pets more, that turns to clients enjoying the experience more, and it turns into a successful thriving business because at that point everybody enjoys their job, everybody enjoys the environment, everybody is enjoying their experience. So now we can try to just continue to build up on that and make it work. So when I was working at hospitals, and I mean, of course, I got a lot of medical training, and because I also have my license as a vet tech as well. So not only my bachelor's, but also a license. So I have a lot of experience when it comes to behavior, when it comes to administration, different type of ailments, how to explain things to pet parents, how to, resources that we have and things that they can look up and do at home, things like that. So I have a lot of experience when it comes down to it. However, turning that into an entrepreneurial venture, then it's like, okay, we're in a whole new ball game. So that was one of the biggest things that I knew that I wanted to, because working in hospitals, they have such high turnover rates. And I want to be able to build a business in which we don't have as many turnover rates, and everybody actually enjoys what they do.
And I'm going to be diving into that from the corporate to the business transfer in a little bit. But I also want to talk on, we have a dog ourselves.
Hmm.
Bringing our dog to the vet is a nightmare.
Yeah.
It is not a fun experience. No one enjoys it. We don't enjoy it. The dog doesn't enjoy it. It is just a nightmare all around. How do you make sure that when a pet owner does bring their vet or their dog to get groomed, for daycare, just to get taken care of in general for your services, how do you make sure that is an enjoyable experience for
Okay.
them?
Gotcha. So the first thing I recommend is starting early, as early as you can and as frequent as you can, because it desensitizes them to the whole process of being groomed and being in that environment. Now, another thing I would recommend is see if your facility does happy visits, where you may come in for like maybe 10, 15 minutes. You kind of just sit in the lobby. The staff give them treats, or you give them treats, but it starts to provide positive reassurance, like, or positive reinforcement that this is a good place to be. And it's not, oh, every time they come here, they either give me a bath or they give me vaccines or somebody's stretching something or whatever the case may be. But it's like, hey, every time I come here, I'm actually building up a relationship with these people, and they love me, they care for me, and they're part of my support team, right? So what I would recommend is being able to provide a positive training schedule. So happy visits again, going in, sitting down, people, coming with treats, belly rubs, whatever the case may be. But for us specifically, we try to not only recommend that, but then also we have treats available. We allow them to free roam, just kind of get some of that anxiety out so they're not stuck in a cage until it's time for them to get groomed. We take them for walks. We have an outdoor area. We allow them to run around in. We let them meet the other dogs. So it really gets them in the environment that, hey, this is an enjoyable experience until it's my time to get groomed. And then even then, we try to go slow, or we allow them to, just kind of take their time and get accustomed to it, because it is a stressful thing, especially going to the vet or going to the groomer. It is stressful. So we try to make sure that it's as less stressed as possible. And even besides that, the like aromatherapy, we may have like candles going or music playing, or we'll have like oil diffusers that are going as well. So then that way it hopefully the goal is to calm them down as much as possible. So we try to make it a positive experience for them through those ways.
Why did you decide to build a business around pets? Like, what is it about pets that excites you or that wakes you up in the morning, like ready to go? Like, why build a business around pets?
I just love it. I've always loved the aspect of working with animals. And like growing up, I would watch Jeff Corwin, I would watch Animal Planet day in and day out. I loved every segment of the news when they had pets on there, or watching different shows and they had animals on there. Steve Irwin, and just being able to learn from them and see what they do and how joyful they are about just like working with animals and teaching people how to do it. And then it led me to wanting to be a veterinarian. And I did not realize how many different career paths there are in the animal industry. So I'm like learning different things. I'm seeing, I'm externing, I'm interning, I'm volunteering, and it really led me to really say like, this is what I really, really want to do. My whole life, and it just turned into a career path that I was like, okay, I enjoy doing this. And like you said earlier, it was like, okay, now that I see that I could get paid for it, like, hey, I could grow a business here, and people love, coming here, and people enjoy being able to say like, "Hey, my dog goes to Happy Hearts Pet Care," and yeah, it's just been a long journey of just knowing that this is what I wanted to do, and like we're just working with animals. Like my whole mentality around it is be their voice. And it took a while to really kind of figure out what be their voice really means. And before it was just like, okay, talk up for them, speak up for them, care for them. If you see something, say something, things like that. And then it really turned into, well, in order for us to be their voice, like the pet professionals also have to be their voices too, so they have to be able to identify um, ailments, behavior changes, nutrition recommendation, things like that, resources that they can share with their pet parents. So because if we're speaking up for them, just like if a dog comes in that's matted, we have to speak up for them because they can't speak up for themselves. And we have to show pet parents like, hey, matting actually hurts your dog, and it causes them to be uncomfortable and things like that. Now it's your turn to do what you have to do at home to make sure that they are as comfortable as possible. So when it comes
What
down
is
to it,
matting?
so
What
when
is matting? If you want to touch on that.
gotcha. So when the hair basically curls around itself and it causes like, you can't comb through it, you can't brush through it because it just basically locks up. So basically think of having locks throughout the body, right? But it's all one sheet, and it's not like individual locks like this, but it's all one sheet throughout the body. So because they have hair all over their body, so everywhere has to be combed and brushed, so when it comes down to it, it's like, look, at some point you have to make sure that they're getting groomed daily, so that they don't get matted. Because when it gets to the point of it being all over their body, it locks in moisture, it can lock in different like dirt and bacteria and things like that, and it causes hot spots and skin issues. And you never know, I've seen cases where dogs have literally open wounds under matting, and people don't realize it, people don't smell it, they don't see it, they don't hear it. Like, they don't hear their dogs like biting at it or scratching at it, so it just gets worse underneath that skin. And when you take it out, then it's like, okay, now you can allow oxygen to get to the skin, you can allow the skin to grow, the hair to grow, and the skin to really do what it needs to do. So it's a lot that goes into it for sure. But all in all, I just knew that this was something that I wanted to do, and it brings me joy, and it brings me joy teaching others about it, because it's more than just the surface level of just grooming a dog. It's more than just the surface level of pet sitting or dog walking or daycare or overnight care. It's really being a part of that pet's team to make sure that they're happy and healthy all around, just like a child. You have your teachers, you have your administrators, you have your after school program, you have your mentors, you have, whoever they look up to and things like that. You have a team of people, your family, right? You have a team of people teaching this child how to be a responsible and upstanding citizen, right? Same thing with your pets. You have to have a team around them to teach them how to be upstanding pets, because nobody likes a pet that doesn't know how to act, especially in public. So, it's the
Yes.
same thing.
This might be a little controversial or a controversial question in the pet community, but what is your opinion on pet owners treating their dogs like humans?
I I
Give
wouldn't
it to me
say
raw. Give it to me.
no, no, no. I wouldn't say like it's controversial. There are people who take it overboard for sure, right? There are people who absolutely take it overboard. I think that in some cases it's necessary because they view them better. Like there are people like us growing up, our grandparents and sometimes our parents, they didn't view pets as pets. I mean, as family members, they viewed them as just animals. They were animals. They were outside. They got scraps. They were either on a chain to the tree, or they got a house outside, whatever. But they never really came inside, and they never really got everything that we give our pets these days. So now we're getting to the generation in the pet parenthood where people are really treating their pets better because they see them as life mates basically, to where they have a life, they have feelings, they require better nutrition, they require comfort, they bring them happiness at the same time. And basically they're their children, you know. So I like it to a certain extent. There are people again who go overboard with it, but there are people who prioritize pet care because they view them more than just animals. So if they view them as their child, then by all means, great, because that means you're doing what you need to do in order for your child to be happy, you know? Now, when you do drop that child off, don't call every 5 minutes. Don't worry about what they're doing. Like everything is going to be okay, you know? It's just, I'm grateful that you brought them in and I'm grateful that you prioritize their care to get the right help for them.
And do you think when those pet parents do go overboard, that is hurting the pet?
Well, yes and no. It depends on the energy because energy is transferable, right? So if you have a client who is overly anxious, more than likely you're going to see an overly anxious dog too. So it really just depends on how they are because sometimes dogs will act totally different away from their pet parents, but then when their pet parents are around, they act just that's why I compare it to children because children do the same thing, right? So they act totally different when they're away from them versus when they're with them. So you have those pet parents who can be extremely anxious. They can be entitled, a little snarky, like, you know, whatever. And sometimes that those behavioral traits do leak into their pets, you know. So then now you see the pets who really don't care to listen. They're super distracted by everything. They're really anxious. They want to go home, or they are barking all the time because they can't be away from their parents, or they see other dogs, things like that. So that's why I recommend desensitizing desensitizing them, you know, to being in environments like that. And also training is definitely important because it helps them understand like what's expected of them, especially if you have a working dog versus a dog that may just like sitting on the couch, whatever the case may be. So it really just it helps them overall be happy when you're putting them in environments that teaches them how to be comfortable.
I like it.
Yeah.
Can you can you talk to us about what is PetX and how is this going to help pet professionals in the future?
Absolutely. So, um, I, of course, you know, Happy Hearts Pet Care. And it all starts, everything starts with Happy Hearts, right? Happy Hearts Pet Care has taught me that I'm not doing this alone. You know, when it comes down to entrepreneurship, when it comes down to the problems that we face within the industry, when it comes down to just being a business owner in itself and being a business leader. So we go to different trade shows throughout the year, and sometimes I'll do like interviews with some of the pet professionals there, and I'll just talk to them. And a lot of the time is around, you know, one of the main issues that I see or I hear is that they don't realize how many other pet professionals are in the area, or they don't reach out to them, or they don't talk to them, they don't network with them, things like that. And I'm like, that's how our businesses grow. I can't tell you how many referrals I got from other pet professionals just because they know that I'm a groomer in the area. So whether or not you are a groomer, you can recommend other groomers. If you're a pet sitter or a dog walker or a veterinarian, a vet tech, a pooper scooper, a pet chef, whatever you do, you can recommend another business because now you are looked to as the expert. People are asking you questions for a reason. So, and so I had a lot of conversations around that, and people were saying like they didn't realize, you know, who they had around them and how important it is to network. So that led me to creating our first chapter at the time is called Petlanta. And so Petlanta was basically our way for us to network with other pet professionals here in Atlanta, build up resources. We have a weekly call where we just check in and be able to have different virtual events, in person events, things like that, because I strongly believe that community is very, very important in business ownership and entrepreneurship. So Now that we have the first chapter, and then of course the way that my mind works, I'm like, well, why can't we build it out to
Yes.
the country, to the nation, right? And have different chapters all over the country. So that led me to starting the PEDX network. And the PEDX network in itself is a way for us to have our podcast, to have pet business highlights, be able to start other ventures under the PEDX name, be able to open different chapters, and be able to do, you know, different educational courses or workshops and things like that. Because now, as we travel and as we grow, we see that this need is also needed elsewhere. So as we continue to, build up momentum, we're able to really expand our network outside of Atlanta. Like our next chapter would literally be in Orlando because now we're building up our resources in Orlando, and that'll be Petlando, right? So now we continue to just build it up off of that. So the PEDX itself, PEDX name itself, is really a way for us to really build a community within the pet industry, and it starts with the network and our nonprofit, which is the PEDX Foundation, in which that helps the youth, the next generation of pet professionals and pet leaders, and they're able to get mentorship, scholarships, placements, jobs, things like that, and just help when it comes down to what they want to do in the pet industry. So now we have the network, we have our foundation, and we have our first two chapters basically. So and it's just building up from there. It's just continue to just building, and our goal is really just to help. Uh, I was about to say, so uh, our slogan is to make better pet businesses together. And that's literally what I was about to say is our goal is to help make better pet businesses together, because I feel like together we'll definitely go farther than everybody just thinking that they have to do it alone.
I agree. We could talk about this entire topic for the next hour.
Absolutely. And
Unfortunately, we don't have the next
I
hour.
love it.
Um, I love how you guys are fostering collaboration.
Thank you.
I think business owners nowadays, we need to foster an environment where we can collaborate. Like you said, there's other groomers that are literally referring you clients.
Yeah.
They're in the same industry, they do the same thing as you, but you foster this collaboration where, hey, I don't have room for a client today. Go down to Wayne and see him.
Yeah.
So instead of them taking all the business or them not sharing, you are fostering a place where there is collaboration, which I think is the most important thing in business, is to find that community, find those people that support you, and dive deep with them.
For sure.
I also want to dive into, you said something earlier on the pet side of things, but I think this also applies to how you live your life.
Hmm.
You said that energy is transferable.
Yeah.
How does that dictate the way that you live your life?
I try to be as calm as I can. No, I'm huge on professional and personal development. So at, if you hear it like while I'm speaking, I'll take breaks because I don't want to get ahead of myself, but then I also want to make sure that the information that I relay is effective and efficient, right? So when it comes down to it, I try to do the same thing in my everyday life. Like I'm reading or I'm listening to books or I'm watching podcasts, listening to podcasts. I'm recommending different things. Like literally on our call, we talk like every month is a different theme. So we talk about leadership, we talk about communication, we talk about being prepared, we talk about finances, we talk about whatever the case when it comes down to professional and personal development. Excuse me, especially in our businesses too. So, me personally, again, energy is definitely transferable because pets pick up on that. They pick up whether or not you're sad, you're mad, you're happy, whatever you might be going through that you're trying not to convey. Like, for example, which is amazing, like, pets are so amazing, dogs are so amazing. The fact, I did a trade show not too long ago, and two of the dogs that we did demos on. So I worked at a vendor's booth and we did a demo on the dog there. And they were what's the word I'm looking for? Therapy dogs. Therapy dogs or support dogs. And one of them can basically help you understand or help you or alarm you when you're about to go into like a psychotic break or psychosis, basically. And then the other one helps when you are, going into autism, like a episode with autism or whatever case may be. And then there are other seizure alert dogs, dogs that really help. And I'm like, okay, these things are so important because if they can sense that, then they can sense when you're happy, when you're sad, or when you're going through something, because dogs pick up on energy and they pick up on your scent and they pick up on your mannerisms and things like that. So for me, it's like I try to go into things calm because I also understand that grooming may not be part of their normal routine. So it may be scary, it may be, alarming to them. So that's why I try to provide a calming environment for them, when it comes down to it. So when it comes down to our staff, when it comes down to our team, when it comes down to, every experience that they have, it's great for them to have like a calming feeling, like a calming life, right? When it comes down to it. So that's why I try to emulate that. I try to be as calm and happy as possible because I get to do what I love, right? And pets pick up on that. They know when, you really want to be there versus when you don't want to be there. And I try to make sure that they feel the energy that, hey, I'm grateful to be here, but also let's get this done too, you know?
Yeah.
So that's my thing. That's how I walk on the earth,
Yes.
basically.
I like it. And you have dedication plus consistency equals success on the wall behind you.
It is.
Why are those two things so important
Oh, there's
for
a few.
succeeding?
Wait, hold on, let me see. So
Oh, shoot,
yeah,
there's
there we
more.
go.
We have
Yeah.
discipline plus
So
hard work. Yep.
discipline, hard work, dedication, consistency equals success. Yes. And I
Why
mean,
is that important?
that's it. That's it. So you have to be disciplined, first of all, because you're not going to always be motivated. When it doesn't matter what that is in life. So whether it's working out, running a business, leading a team, you got to be disciplined when it comes down to it. And it's not easy. So that's where the hard work comes in because it's hard. So you have to be okay with doing the hard things, having the hard tasks, making the hard decisions, the hard conversations, and just making it work. It's rare that you'll hear me complain about stuff when it comes down to it because I just have to get it done. Like it has to get done. And if it doesn't get done, then I'm I have the feeling of like letting myself down, letting my staff down, my team down, whatever. So it's like I have to get it done. So that's just part of the hard work. And of course, you got to be dedicated. If you're not dedicated, then it's not going to work. Why are we even doing this? You know? And in all things you do in life, you got to be consistent. So if you're not consistent, whether it's social media, posting, your business, showing up for your business, working on personal development, professional development, things like that, then you let it fall. And I made a promise to myself that I'm not going to allow this to fail or allow this to fall. So that's where all of that comes in, and I feel like that's my level of success is when you add all of those things together and you just make it work. And I love acronyms, so I have another I have another acronym too, and it's called FLIG. So FLIG. So not only do I live by this, but I also live by FLIG, right? And FLIG stands for fail, learn, improve, and grow. So you have to fail first. You got to learn from your failures. You improve because you learned from your failures, and you have no choice but to grow because you improve by learning from your failures. Because you're gonna fail, and it is what it is. But you got to fail forward. So
Yes.
that's my take on it.
That's beautiful, man. I love it, and we could talk for the next 2 hours. But sadly, I only have two more questions for you,
I
Wayne.
got you. No worries.
But I did want to comment on that. I agree. I think failing, we either win or we learn.
Yeah.
There's no failure, right? Like we're always learning. The only way we fail is if we quit or we stop learning.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, especially kind of to the like everything is or the energy is transferable and that's our entire life is um everything is based on your perspective. So if you think everything's going to work out for the best, a failure could be a win in the future.
It could.
So I I I love your perspective on that. But I only have two more questions for
I
you.
got you. Go ahead.
If you could have dinner with two people,
Uh huh.
one person from the past and one person from the present, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's a good question. One person from the past. That is a really, really good question. Like, I gotta think about that. Let me see. From the present, it would be President Obama. Just to talk and just be like, he seems like a cool, smooth dude to just kind of have a really, really good conversation with. Um, and from the past, I would say it's crazy. The first person that comes to mind is Bernie Mac. Just a great comedian, just overall great guy, and really intelligent and smart. Great connections, and just like you learn that even though their artistry was in joke telling, they're really smart people, and really intelligent, and can really have some great wisdom to share upon you. So yeah, so I would say Bernie Mac and President Obama, we will have a great dinner.
Awesome. Awesome. One more question for you, Wayne.
uh,
Why did you decide to partner with us and offer the discounts?
because I believe that it is important for businesses to grow. It is important for businesses to really expand their reach and be able to, see what else is out there. And uh, all businesses need clients. All businesses need people to come in. And if this is a way for us to incentivize people to come into their businesses and help make their businesses sustainable, I feel like this is a great way to do it. DigiFree and digital marketing is in itself a strong tool when it comes down to gaining clients and incentivizing clients to come in and being able to offer them discounts and being able to say, hey, we appreciate. It's a way for us to show appreciation, for them booking with us. So I said, let's go ahead and make that happen, and partnering with you guys have been nothing short of amazing thus far. I really appreciate our communication and just being able to talk and just being able to say, hey, this is how we're going to grow things and this is how we're going to build it out. And I'm happy to be at this level and this stage now to say, hey, I've watched it from when we were down here and now we're up here. We're just continuing to grow and make great things happen in the world, because I feel like, you have to have that mindset of, I see how the future is going and I see how things are going. And when it comes down to building that community, this is exactly where you need to be, because if nobody else is looking out for us, we have to look out for each other. So I said, let's go ahead and make it happen. We're here, and yeah, I'm excited for what's to come. Absolutely, and be part of the success story that, hey, we had 50 new clients come in this month because of the platform.
Yes. Thank you for trusting us early on in the process here. And I think just like what you touched on before about your network you're building, your collaboration mindset, I think we have a very similar, if not the same mindset around working together, collaborating together, sending
Absolutely.
clients to each other, promoting each other. So we appreciate the fact that you have that vision, that you have that collaboration mindset as well.
Oh,
So
thank you.
Wayne, those are the questions I have for you.
Yeah.
How can people find you? And what is one thing you want to leave people with?
I got you. So I would say you can find us dependent on which part which part of life you're on. If you're a pet parent or a pet professional, you could always find us on Instagram at Happy Hearts Pet Care ATL. You could also follow Petlanta at petlanta.inc. If you're in Atlanta for sure. And then if you just want to be part of the network and see what we have going on, the PetX network is there for you as well. From there, you'll be able to see all of our pictures, graphics, what we have going on, events, be able to see, all of the cute dogs that we groom as well, and building our community. So Happy Hearts Pet Care ATL, Petlanta.inc, and the PetX Network, and you'll be able to see everything else and see our links.
What do you want to leave people with?
Fail, learn, improve, and grow. Just keep going. Keep going. It gets tough. You'll have times where you have no idea what to do next, and it's just a matter of not being afraid to open your mouth and saying, "I need help." It's we try to figure out things as much as we can on our own accord, but you got to have faith, and you got to have community, and you got to have people around you that's going to uplift you as well as point you in the right direction, because they also been through some things. Surround yourself with successful people, and you'll be the next successful person. So that's it.
Great way to end it. Wayne, thank you for coming on the podcast, man. If you could stay in the room after, we'll talk for like 3 to 5 minutes. But
Okay.
thank you for coming on. Like I mentioned 2 or 3 times, we could have talked for the past 2 hours.
It was
So
good. It was
thank
good.
you so much for coming
No,
on the
thank you.
podcast, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I truly appreciate this opportunity.